YouTube. Happy to
Hi.
see you.
Hello.
Actually recording like midday, so it's like bright and well, it's not
I
midday
know.
for you.
Well, it's like early evening, 6 o'clock.
Oh, that's pretty good. YouTubers, I love you and I'm curious about you. So I want to know, leave us a comment on this video of why you watch us on YouTube versus any of the other platforms that
Yes,
I'm
that'd
just
be
curious.
awesome. Yeah,
And
we are curious.
we're just trying to figure this thing out. So let's do it.
Maybe it's because I just want to see our beautiful faces.
Stop it, you guys. You're so sweet.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
Oh, I love that one. Okay, let me
I
get
know.
this. All right. So you ready to start recording our little
I
voice?
am. All right. Three. All right. Do you have your app up?
Yep.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Hit record. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Tea with Claudia and B. That's B.
And that's Claudia.
Hello. And today we are going to be talking about a movie semi-based on Mansfield, supposedly, called Metropolitan.
Mm-hmm. So it came out in 1990.
The year I was born.
It's a gem. It is a gem.
So Metro what? Like, yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of what's happening with this.
Yeah, it's pretty bizarre. So
Yeah.
anyway, but to kick it off on a more positive note, what are your weekly obsessions this week?
This week was a little slow. I didn't have any like overwhelming obsession, but I have to say we have been enjoying like weather in the 60s and it has been sunny and just so nice. And I cannot tell you what a mood booster it has been. So my obsession is just going outside this week as much as I can because it has been so beautiful and it makes me so happy.
And being barefoot?
Yes, I love being barefoot. As soon as the weather, like on Tuesday, I think it was, I wore sandals to work and everyone was like, Bethany, you're tempting weather. Like this, now it's going to snow. And I was like, I don't care. It's warm. I can't wear shoes. I just have to be barefoot now. So that's it.
That's so fun. I love that.
I love it. What about you?
My weekly obsession is we're at my school, we're doing a spring musical. It's like actually gonna be all through Zoom, which is like really cute, but kind of sad too. But it's like a Zoomsicle. Anyway,
Oh,
and
cute.
the kids are sending like their auditions through video and they are hilarious. Like this one guy, he goes, "Hi, my name is blah 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 blah." And I'll be singing blah blah blah. No, he was like, and then I'll be singing my original song. And then he like bursts up and it's like this like jam and he has like sunglasses on. And then he does the audition. And then afterwards he does like Spider-Man. Like
That is so cute.
he's hilarious. He dressed, there was a day where we were supposed to dress up as like our favorite movie star or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he dressed up as Ace Ventura.
This kid sounds so cool.
He's in 3rd grade.
Even cooler. Like, how does he even know about Ace Ventura?
Probably his parents, how else? They probably love it. So
yeah.
Some of these kids are just hilarious. Like I can't get over how funny they are. So and it's just been so fun to watch their videos. They're just so freaking cute. I love them.
I bet that sounds like it would be a lot of fun. So that makes me think of my nephew who just turned 7. Okay, so all of my niece and nephews for my brother that I live with them, and so I get to like see them all the time, and I'm obsessed with them. They all have a problem when somebody just starts singing, which is not good for me because I sing all the time. And
you're a singer.
Love it. Yeah. And I just love singing. And like, I get it. Like sometimes it's annoying when somebody just bursts out into song. And so it's not like I do it 24/7, but I sing often and they all kind of get annoyed with it. But this one, the youngest one, for some reason gets really annoyed. Like as soon as you start singing his face, he'll just like get these eyes that he's so annoyed. And he's like, can you stop? Like without fail. And even our neighbor, she has a son his age, and so they'll go and play a lot. And she's like, in our house, we sing a lot, whether we're in the car singing or at the house or anything. If anyone starts singing, Bodhi's like, stop it. Like he gets annoyed with them. So at Christmas time, he and I made a deal that for Christmas, he wouldn't get mad at me if I sang for 2 weeks straight. And luckily he doesn't really have a concept of time. So that 2 weeks like turned into months. And I kept being like, no, it's not up. The 2 weeks isn't up yet. You still can't get mad at me. But the other day, all of my siblings, we went out for dinner and we went to this Thai place and they had like their version of a fortune cookie there. So I pull out my fortune and it said something about like, you have the voice of an angel or something like that. And I was like, Bodhi, is that true? And he's like, yes. He was so annoyed, but I was like,
yes,
the fortune cookie said it, so it's true. Anyway.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
Yay, I love it. How do your siblings listen to the podcast?
My sister does. I don't know if any of my other siblings do actually. I think they do every once in a while, but my sister is pretty good at listening time. So thanks,
That's
Paige.
awesome.
You're the best.
Oh, I love it. Thanks, Paige. That's so fun. Yay, I love it. I don't think that any of mine do.
So we can talk about them and they would never know.
I think my brother that you met over FaceTime, I think he has listened to some of it, like he told you, but I don't think he's listened to more.
Yeah.
But it's fine. I mean, we're all busy, so it's like not a big deal. It's hard.
I know. I always kind of chuckle when friends are like, how's the podcast? I'm sorry I'm not caught up on it. And I'm like, it's okay. It's fine. Everyone gets busy. You can't constantly like, you can't keep up with everything your friends are doing, but they're supportive.
No, it's hard. Yeah, I love it too. It's hard for sure. For sure. I understand. Okay, so are we going to talk about this bizarre movie?
Let's do it. What do we have to say about this?
Okay. I told B, so like, this is so funny. We were talking about Marco Polo because I was like, okay. I said, have you watched any of this weird movie yet? And she's like, no, I haven't. I'm like, basically what I get from it, and I had about maybe 45 minutes left. I was like, basically they like meet a random redhead on the street who is like trying to get into a cab. And then all of a sudden he's like part of this elite social club and they go to parties together. That's basically the premise that I got.
Yeah.
Is that what you got?
Every set, they were either on the streets of New York at like some dance hall or somebody's apartment hanging out. Like they just go to parties and talk.
And it was like a really, really nice apartments.
Yeah. Also, were you confused as to what time this was supposed to take place in?
I thought it was the 90s, like right at 1990.
I think you're right. But for a little bit watching the movie, I was like, is this supposed to be like an older, like, are they supposed to be in like the 60s or 70s or something? Like I was confused by it because the way they talk is so, I mean, I guess the point of it was they're kind of like elitist and they're kind of like snobbery people, but like the way the dialogue goes, it seems like old fashioned way of communicating. And then I just was never sure, I mean, like some of the dresses, I was like, that's clearly 80s style. But
but it was, but if it was 1990, that's like literally right on the cusp of.
Yeah, exactly.
So it would be more 80s style.
Well, anyway. And I think it was filmed in like 86 or something like that, but it didn't come out in 90.
Oh, that makes sense.
So, I mean, I caught on eventually, but for a minute I genuinely was confused and I was like Googling like, what time frame is this supposed to be in? Cause I'm not really sure. And then I saw like a phone that was from my childhood. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So that's basically the premise I got. I mean, like, honestly, there was not any like real connection with the characters. Like I didn't love any of the characters. I didn't feel for any of them. It was bizarre.
Yeah. Yeah. They kind of, I don't know, like what the point of it was. I guess in a way it was kind of like, it could have been like a commentary on Jane Austen novels and how high society functioned. And so they were showing high society in the 80s turned to the 90s, and like how they were just into the party scene and they didn't really have like much going on in their life past it, because they kept talking about a common conversation topic between all of the friends was like, is our generation or our type of people that are like high society preppy, as they would call them back then, are we just doomed to fail at everything we do, you know,
Mhm.
like to have a tragic life kind of idea. So maybe it was like kind of just taking a hit on that, because they do talk about Jane Austen and Mansfield Park a lot.
They
They're
do,
obviously
yeah.
referencing it, but I don't know. I don't know. That was
I don't
like
know.
the
I
only thing I
was
could think of.
like when the first thing I said was I love the pink dress, and I don't even remember what pink dress, but
Oh, I think I know which one, where it's like off her shoulders and it's a tight
yes.
wrap, but then there's a ruffle around the center that's like super, super big.
Yeah, I
I
love
love
that
that
one.
too.
And then seeing New York just made me really sad.
I agree. Movies that take place in New York during Christmas time always make me want to go to New York so badly. I've never gone during Christmas, but I love going to New York, and it just
I know, it just makes me sad. I'm like, ugh.
Mhm.
And then, all right, so it starts off with like the guy with the glasses arguing with another girl about whether or not like Christianity is real or whatever. So I thought, oh, this must be Edmund, like the representation of Edmund.
Yes. Okay.
And then,
And I kept thinking, okay, I have the list of the cast up because it's not like I would remember their names. I didn't care. But his name is Victor in the movie, and he's honestly like, I think I liked his character the most.
the one
Um,
that argued about everything with the glasses, and the
yes,
one that
wearing the
liked the
glasses.
lead, the one that
Yes.
liked the short-haired girl. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Hmm.
I liked him. And I was thinking Edmund as well, but it kind of went back and forth between the redhead guy who's the lead. What's his
Yes.
name? What his name was Tom Townsend.
Yeah.
Great name. Um, so Tom, the male lead, I kept thinking like maybe he's Edmund, and then the guy with the glasses, Victor, I kept being like, well, maybe he is. Like,
I don't know. I especially thought he was Edmund whenever he was saying, uh, um, at the very end, whenever we find out that he likes her, the lead girl with the short
Mhm.
hair, and then I was like, oh, I guess then he is Edmund.
Yeah.
But then, but then at the end, she doesn't even end up with any of them. Like, there's no. I thought that there would be like a kiss or something to like show who she is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Who does Audrey choose? Audrey's the main girl. That's like the endearing main girl that we like. Okay, you know what I felt? I feel like we watched like the preppy version of The Breakfast.
But with the Breakfast Club, the characters are more concrete and it's a little bit more relatable than this.
Yes. Agreed, which is why that one was a hit and this one not a lot of people know about.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
it's similar in kind of like misfits or people trying to fit in. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
and I guess the writing was probably similar because it comes from the same time frame, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah. But I thought it was funny when they would talk about that girl Serena who had like 20 boyfriends.
and she would write them all letters because she was at like a prep school and they were at different prep schools. And so she would just like
Yeah.
drag them all along because she was writing them all letters. I mean, here's the thing. I've never been a girl like that ever. I've never been able to like juggle multiple guys or anything like that. But I look at those
Well,
women and there's something about them that I admire.
mhm. Well, I mean, it's the typical Marty from Greece, right?
Yeah.
Marty like had all of these guys that she wrote to and, all this stuff and was
Mm-hmm.
always trying to get attention. And I think that honestly stems from daddy issues.
Probably.
I
Probably.
mean,
But yeah, I guess it's just like their audacity that I kind of enjoy observing, you know?
well, also it's just bizarre. I always thought it was weird. I had friends that literally they would have a boyfriend, break up, and then like all of a sudden they have like a week later they have, or maybe even the next day have another boyfriend.
They were
And
just
I'm just
serial
like,
daters.
and I asked my friend, I'm like, how the hell do you do that? I don't even have that many guys interested in me to be able to do that.
I know. There are
And
some
like,
women that have cracked the code to instantly get guys' attention and get them obsessed with them. And I don't know if it's always like genuine behavior on their part, but it is fascinating to watch.
well,
I
and
don't
to
get
be
it.
fair, the guys that she was dating, though, I wouldn't really have wanted to date. So
Yeah.
maybe she just wasn't as picky as I was. Um,
Do you think you're a picky dater?
I mean, yeah, but I don't know. I am because I have like, I mean, I told a guy I didn't want to go out with him this week because you know why,
Yeah.
but because
That sounded worse than it did. It was a good choice on your part. I
yeah, I mean, like I already knew right off the bat that he wasn't religious. So like, what's the point? I mean, like unless you want to work together, unless he wanted to work together in some capacity of, um, you know, like professionally in some way. I mean, or
Yeah.
like hang out with a group of friends maybe. But I don't. I mean, like why am I going to date somebody that's not religious? That's super important to me. It's not. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's practical. You have to be able to relate on important things in life.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I think that was fine. But yeah, I don't think it's bad to be picky in dating. I think that there are superficial things to be picky about and then meaningful things. And obviously you don't want to be picky about the superficial things, but it doesn't seem like
No.
you are. And I don't
Mm-mm.
think,
Yeah, I'm not big. Like I'm big on like being making sure that they're taking care of themselves and that they're healthy. Just because I don't want them to die like young. You know what I mean? Um,
and
and
women
so
already outlast men. So we have to make sure there's not going to be an added complication to us being left
yes.
behind for 20 years.
So therefore I'm more attracted to people like of the, you know,
Yeah.
slimmer stature, I guess you should say. But that sounds horrible, but I mean,
No, I know what you mean. Um,
it's not the way that it's not because like the way that they look. I just saying it's just that it's taking care of themselves, and I know that some of it's hereditary and yada yada. It's a case by case basis, yada yada yada. It's not like you know all
yeah.
one size fits all, but
No, that totally makes sense. I think that I've become more picky as I've gotten older, but I think that's a good thing because
mm,
I have it's a strength and a flaw at the same time. I can see past a lot of people's shortcomings, which is good, but in dating that's not always good. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Sometimes
Well, and
you need something better.
honestly, like I was with a guy who, like, if I could pick out of the litter of how I wanted my dream guy to look, like I had him. But the other stuff was outweighed that. So for me, it's like I would rather have the other stuff, and then the looks, it's not a big deal. Like,
Yeah.
right. So,
Oh,
because that's
totally.
superficial.
Hmm.
Like I had that and it was a mess. It was a mess.
Yeah.
So,
I'm with you 100%. I know that there's a word for it where somebody like their attraction is primarily based on like intellectual connection.
mhm.
There's some kind of word for it and it sounds really like fancy. I can't remember it. But I have dated guys that are like not very attractive. And I've seen it like the reaction from my friends when they're like, "You're dating him?" Like, huh. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I know he's not necessarily like hot, but he was like so fun or like just so interesting to me that I just adored them and had like such a crush on their brain. And I actually
Uh-huh.
prefer that. Like I mean, yeah, I
Yeah.
would like to have somebody hot, but like
Well, and at
it,
the end of the day, it's like I've seen couples where one of them gets in a really bad accident and look completely different.
it's true. Beauty is not guaranteed. Youth and attractiveness doesn't last forever.
Yeah. So it's just how it is. But okay, let's see. Oh, I liked the political fights. I thought that was fun. I like hearing intellectual people fight. Like, obviously, I don't like all political fights. Obviously, like if it's a fight where it's like one side is if they're both just like throwing insults at each other, I don't like that. But I like the juicy like political debates. I just think like I just get so like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. And I think they had good writing for the debates and their conversations because there'd be somebody saying, like, there was, um, a scene where the redhead Tom was talking to Audrey, and Audrey's the character that really likes Jane Austen. She's kind of like a little more old fashioned than the other girls. And like, I don't even know if old fashioned, she's just like a little bit more down to earth and uh not as worldly, I guess. I don't
Yeah,
know the other girls.
I think that she's not I mean,
She's
she's
not as
not
valid
as,
as they are
yeah,
out there.
they have are a little bit more loose, as I should say.
Yes.
They're
They like to
loosey
have fun.
goosey.
So they were having a
So they're like,
conversation.
you, B and I are the girls or whatever, and then
Take that as you will.
we're the loosey goosey.
With high standards. Actually, I do think that that's pretty fair of us, of being like, we both date a lot and we're both pretty chill about a lot of things, but then we're also like, but like, I want like a good man of God. I want somebody who's pulled together, which is a complicated thing to have, but
Well,
we pull it
because, but
off.
also, but we both, through our experiences, we know what has lasting power. So we can weed out the BS, and then like the stuff that has lasting power, like, can come through.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. Um,
I do know what you mean.
very deeply. Okay, but going back to your thing about the arguments, that these two characters are talking about Jane Austen, and he basically says something of like, no, like those books are, I would totally disagree. And I just love how like formal they are in their debates, or they're disagreeing with each other. Like they'll call each other out and give a different example of why they think they're wrong, and then they'll keep talking. I really enjoyed it. So I am with you on that. I agree about the dialogue was well written.
Yes, very well written. I enjoyed that part for sure. But see, then again, it's just, for me, what was missing was the relationship of being clear about their relationships. I don't know. It just seemed a little.
Yeah, but I think that's Mansfield. Like I think we've just experienced that with this book, where it's kind of like everyone's just floating along, and maybe
Yeah,
they're
I
interested, maybe they're
know.
not, like
That's true. I kind of wish, though, to make it a little bit more relatable, that they showed like the girls like going to work, and then like coming off of work, and then like getting all dressed up to go out. Like, I don't know, to make it more relatable. I just have this vision of how I would have written it, and I would have written it like, the girls like are out in their workspace, and then she's like, oh, copy this, please, blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, oh, it's 5 o'clock, we gotta go. And then they like run out. And then like see them like putting on their shoes and their lipstick and getting ready. And then they go out.
yeah,
And then they're like, oh, okay, these are like a group of friends that like are part of this club. It just wasn't clear to me. It was just kind of bizarre. I don't know.
yeah. No, I get it,
Just
because
to
you're
make
not
it more
really.
relatable to us. Like,
Hmm. You're not really sure what the point of the story is. Like
yeah.
was it because they changed like their perspective on things? Because at the end, Victor and Tom, who hadn't really gotten along during the movie, at the end, they're both trying to help out this girl, their one friend Audrey, that they think
Mhm.
a bad situation and they need to like help. So is it
Yeah.
the growth, is it the changing of opinions that people go through, because Tom was all dedicated to socialism, and then at the end he's like, I don't know if it really works, and then Victor's like, I wouldn't want to live on a farm with a bunch of other people, which I laughed so hard. Thought it was so funny.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, I'm not really sure, like I don't really know what we just watched,
Yeah.
to be honest.
I don't either. um,
um
and then like, okay, I did like the relationship between the blonde and then kind of the what was his name? The one that she slaps and then
Nick.
he calls her a slut.
Yes, Nick.
I like thought that was kind of hot.
And he's like, don't do that again. I don't find that erotic.
And I'm like, BS, you guys sleep together.
Okay, so he was the only person in this film that I recognized from anything else. He was in a season of Gilmore Girls. He plays Richard, who Lorelai dates.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He does look fit. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he
Aw,
just
cute.
always kind of plays like a blue blood from upstate New York area, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Oh my gosh, Gilmore Girls. I love Luke so much.
Me too. But here's my thing. I have a debate always in my heart between Max from season one, her boyfriend, or Luke, because I love
Oh,
them both so
the
much.
professor. Oh
Hmm.
yeah, because he's the wolf in 10th Kingdom.
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that. He is. He's so cute.
He's so cute. Oh, I love the 10th Kingdom. Oh my god, I love it.
Ah, that's a good
Ugh. I remember literally watching that movie, or I guess that miniseries, like when it aired weekly, and I was so excited every week for it to come on.
That's so funny. I don't think my family had TV at that point. My parents would go through phases of being like, no TV at all. And they would like disconnect
Oh,
everything and then we would get it back.
yeah.
So there were a lot of shows
Oh,
that I caught up on later in life.
yeah.
I never saw it. It's okay though.
Oh, but such a good one. I
That
love
one is really
10th
good. I like
Kingdom
it.
so much. Like, yeah. I think he's super hot in that. I don't know.
Hmm.
Like, yum. He's that wolf. But yeah, I don't know, but there's something about Luke. Like, I love the scene when like Luke, I don't know if it's Luke or Lorelai that lists off all the things that need fixing in her house, and he does it all for her. And I just think that's super sweet.
Yeah, I know.
I
I love
love
their
it.
friendship. And then I love the dating relationship, the romance from it, you know?
I do too. Oh, when they first kissed after season 4, I remember just like being like, like so
Oh,
excited.
well, and I love how they do that because it kind of shows like the awkwardness of like trying to go from friends to dating because like he goes in to kiss
Hmm.
her and she's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Just let me." And then he like kisses her
I
and then they
know.
just look at each other for a minute and then she goes in to kiss him and he's like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Just let me do." You know?
Oh, it's so
It's
cute.
so
I
I
love
really love that
that.
show. I rewatch that show so much and I love it every time.
Yeah. I was kind of bummed though that I kind of wish that in the new season that they had made them married already because I was like, why this is so stupid. Like,
Yeah.
because I guess because they like wanted to show them getting married so that we could see it. But I just was like, no, like let them already be married. Like, I don't know. I just
No.
was like, why would they wait that long to get married?
Yeah, I know.
It makes no sense.
I honestly didn't like that season, A Year in the Life. When I first watched it, there were a lot of things that I was not okay with, but when I rewatched it, I actually really liked a lot of the things. And even them not being married at first bugged me. And then when I rewatched it, I was like, actually, I think that kind of is pretty accurate to them. Like they both were dysfunctional enough that I could see years going by before they're like, maybe we should get married, you know? Maybe we should actually do this. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's true.
I know there were a lot of mixed between
Yeah, that's
fans
true.
of liking it or not liking it. And I think they all have really valid points. But for the
Mhm.
most part,
Yeah.
I'd rather talk about Gilmore Girls than this movie right now.
Obviously. Okay, so just to bring it back though, for a minute I thought that the mom represented Tom Bertram because at first I was like, oh, that makes sense if Tom is Edmund because he's low on money, right? So
Mhm.
I thought maybe his mom is like this super big spender, but then that story didn't pan out. They didn't show her being this super big spender, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Because I was thinking,
Because
oh, well, maybe he's poor. Maybe he's poor because his mom spends the money just like Tom did, but it just didn't, nothing freaking panned out with the parallels, like nothing.
yeah, I
The
think
only thing was Audrey being kind of this like, fanny girl, kind of. That was it.
yeah. I know. I That's why I kind of feel like this is more just inspired by instead of based on, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
you look at modern movies like 10 Things I Hate About You or Clueless or things like that, and they follow the storyline of the classic piece of literature that they're based off of. This one I didn't
Yeah.
feel like it did. I feel like
No.
they
I
took
mean, but
elements of
I
it, but
think
not
it
really.
was I think in the article that where we found this to what we got the idea to watch this movie, and I think it said it was like inspired by it wasn't like
Yeah.
based off of it. But I just figured there would be some parallel, but the only parallel I could see really was that they're some of them are snooty and rich, and then the girl is like meek and
Mhm.
sweet. That
Yeah.
was it. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Um, I think to the point you were making, or the question that you had, I think Tom, the whole idea with it was that his mom and dad went through a divorce, and his dad's like not really in his life anymore. And from his dad, they were rich, but then after the divorce, he chose to be with his mom, and she wasn't
Mm.
really rich, and the dad
Okay.
present, and so
Yeah, that makes
have a lot of
sense.
support from him,
Yeah. Yeah. I said, what's with the slap? What's their relationship? I think when the blonde like slaps the guy. Yeah, that's what I
Uh-huh.
said. It's funny.
And then they
Okay.
end up being a thing.
I know, right? I love that. Okay, so I hate it though, like when Tom was acting like an expert on Mansfield Park and he hadn't even read the book. I was like, ugh. I hate
Okay.
it when people do that.
Yeah, his character was super pretentious because they would like talk about literature, and she had favorite books, and so she would talk to him about them, and then they would just like go back and forth. And then at some point he's like, "Oh, I've never actually read it." And she's like, "How can you know if you like a story if you've never read it?" And he said something about how he likes to read critical commentary on it, because you get the storyline and what the author was trying to do, but then you also get the commentary and like the opposite perspective of it as well. Which I can see why he would think that, but I don't think that's true, because you're getting just the commentary on it. You're getting that person's perspective, and instead of
No.
actually reading the book for yourself.
It literally nothing grinds my gears more than when I hear, oh, I didn't like read the book or I didn't watch the movie. I just listened to somebody else's comments on it. And I'm like, then like, cause that happened. That's sometimes that happens to me too, but I don't say that I have an opinion on it. I just say, oh, I've heard about it and this is their opinion on it. I don't know my opinion on it yet because I haven't watched it, but it bothers me when people are like, oh yeah, like I trust this person, so I take
Mhm.
that. And I'm like, no, you have to like actually look into it yourself. Like you can't just like trust somebody else's what
Mhm.
everything they say. You have to actually look into it. Like, yeah, drives
Yeah,
me crazy.
I get that.
Yeah, drives me nuts. When Tom said, I haven't been giving you the silent treatment, I just haven't been talking to you. Oh my
I
God.
actually liked that. Because okay, here's the thing. In that context, I liked it because it was to a girl that had kind of broken his heart a little bit, and then he found himself back in like the circle of people that she was with, and he was kind of like, no, I'm not gonna like talk to her. um and I don't think that's necessary. I think if you go through a breakup, that's all you need. Like you don't always, even if you're like in a group together, and there is a difference between giving somebody the silent treatment and then just not talking to them, or just kind of avoiding them in groups.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that, but on the flip side, I would probably be upset if a guy said that to me.
Yeah. Drives me nuts. I hate that. Ugh, that's gross. Um, yeah, and then I have more notes about like trying to figure out who's who, but then I kind of was just like, I don't know. I figured that Serena would be like Mary Crawford maybe, or Mariah, maybe Mariah. I don't know. Um, and then I have this quote, maybe by being more of a man than you are, but I can't remember what it was referenced to. So don't know. I have no idea. Are you there?
Yeah, can you
You're
hear me?
frozen. Yeah. Yeah. Um, okay, the story though that Rick tells about Polly, um, and how she like killed herself or whatever, that was really messed up that he did that.
It was, but I was confused by how that happened, because he tells this story about this girl. So there's this guy that they don't like, or there's this guy that's like dating one of their friends. I don't even know. He's just like a really rich dude, I guess. And
Yeah, I can't remember
Some of
his
them,
name.
yeah, he has like some weird last name, and some of them seem to know him more, and then others are like, oh, we just kind of like vaguely know each other. So he tells this story about why he doesn't like this guy, because there's this girl that he encouraged to like, that the guy he doesn't like really encouraged her to like him and all this stuff, and then he like
Mhm.
cold shouldered her, and she just kind of really fell apart and had all of these problems, and then she ends up killing herself because she was ignored by this guy. So he tells that story of why he doesn't like him. Well, later it comes out that it's a lie. He just made up that story to try and illustrate to everyone why he's a bad guy, even though it didn't actually happen. He's like, it probably something similar would have happened, which is totally messed up. And then they have like a confrontation where this guy who told the story about is like, that's not true, admitted, and he in front of his friends that he told the story to, he has to be like, okay, it's not true, I made it up. But then
Mhm.
he brings up another girl that's basically the same story, and that one really did happen, but it's not like they can say for sure she killed herself because of that guy. It was just like alluded to, you know?
Yeah.
Mm,
Again, bizarre weirdness. I don't understand.
me neither.
I don't know. Weirdness. I liked the top hat though
He-
that he wore.
I know, that was funny.
Rick wore this top hat and a cane. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Oh my gosh, I say OMG, he made up Polly. WTF.
Poor Polly. I know, that is making up a story like that is so disgusting to me. That
I
really.
know. But I liked seeing the Jane Austen books in the window when she was walking around New York. I thought that was cute.
Yeah, I did too. That
Yeah, that was super sweet. Um, uh, and then, okay, I actually did like this quote because that blonde girl who reminded me a lot of me, but she like they were playing strip poker and she goes, what does she say? Oh, she like puts her cards in or whatever.
mhm.
And she's like, I deal or whatever. And he goes, but we haven't even bought, I can't remember, blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
She goes,
she
I don't
says
know.
she called it. She called it, so they all had to put their cards down to see who won or who lost. And
Yeah.
and
And then
then
he was like playing strip poker. And then she like takes off her skirt or whatever. He's like playing strip poker with an exhibitionist somehow takes the challenge away.
yeah, because she called it, but she didn't have anything, so she lost that hand. And he was like, "You had nothing," and she's like, "I just wanted to do it or whatever." Like she just
Yeah.
wanted to take
Yeah.
off her clothes.
Yeah. So funny. So
Ugh,
funny. I love that.
that
I
was
did think though the guy that was getting drunk all the time was Rushworth.
oh yeah, that would have been a good one. Or he could have been Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
I
an
don't know.
interesting character. He actually was kind of funny to me because at first I was like, he's always passed out drunk. And then towards the end of the movie, he stops drinking because he
Mhm.
has such a problem with it. And at one point they're all out. Well, three of the guys, because everyone, they're like group of friends that always is social together. They all kind of disperse a little bit. Everyone's doing something else. And these three guys are left together. And one of them is the character who's always drunk and he's not drinking anymore. So they're out and he's like, I'm going, like, I'm leaving. It's not so fun to stay out all night when you're not drinking. It's like just not as entertaining.
Yeah.
So he leaves and they're like, well, what are we supposed to do? They're all left behind.
Mhm. Yeah. For real. That's crazy. 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 Um, do you have any other notes?
Not really. I kind of,
Um,
nothing exciting, to be honest.
I liked them when they were going to balls. I was like, that's so cute. And it also made me sad because I'm like, oh, I want to like go into like group things again without everyone freaking out, you know? Um, I like it when he said, I think it was Rick that talks about hypercritical New York girls.
Wait,
I thought that was
Do you mean Nick?
Nick,
Oh
yeah,
wait,
Nick. Because Rick is like awful. He's a dick. Rick is a dick.
yeah, von
But
Slonaker.
Nick,
Rick von Slonaker.
mhm,
He was like the guy that they really didn't like.
yeah, yeah. But Nick, he was talking about something about, I don't even know where he was going, but he was talking about Oklahoma and Texas girls. And then he was saying that, and then that they're better than the hypocritical New York girls. And I was like, oh, okay. Can we talk about the ending? Like, what the heck? They went to this random house in the middle of nowhere, and then they like barge into this room, and like Rick is like in naked, and I mean not naked, but like in swimming trunks, and then like I didn't understand. And then
Yeah,
Audrey's just sitting there with a magazine, and then the other girls are just like in their bra and under. It was weird.
yeah. So the plot of it is Rick, the jerk, they find out that their friend Audrey, that they're protective of because she's the sweetest of all the girls, and they both kind of have feelings for her now. And this is Tom and Victor that find out that Audrey went to Rick's house in the Hamptons, and they're like, we got to go and get her. She's going to be like totally just used and abused by him. And so they figure out a way to get to the Hamptons, and they just show up, and they're like just trying to get into his house. And then when they do get in, they find Rick and another guy, and then their two friends, Audrey, and I don't even remember the other girl's name. Was it Jane? No, it wasn't Jane. It was Sally.
I don't remember.
I think Sally was the blonde. That they're there. And so all of them except for Audrey are like in their underwear or swimsuits. I don't even know. They're all just like hanging out in this room. And they're just so weird. Like it was the weirdest interaction ever. He has like this fake gun. Like there's it's so weird, you guys. And this is part of why 80s movies today, you watch them sometimes and you're like, what? Huh? Was
Yeah,
that
because
normal
then
back then?
there's this random, yeah, and then there's this random military guy that we have no idea who he is, like in at a party or something, and we're like, who are you?
Okay.
Do you remember that?
I fell asleep for a minute watching this movie, and I woke up in that scene and I was like, who is this person? And I rewound it, and then I was like, I still don't know who this guy is. Who was he? Was he supposed to
I don't
be
know.
William? I'm confused by it.
I don't know. That's a good maybe parallel. And then these, like, I didn't understand any of these abbreviations that they use, UHB, SFRP. What?
Um,
Like, I didn't get that at all.
I
You
didn't
know what
get
I
the
mean?
second one. The first one they talked about
I
it
know you're
where it was
frozen.
like,
Wah.
can you see me? Can you hear me? Am I moving?
Yeah, now you are. Yeah.
The first one, UHB, they talked about in the scene, and I don't remember what it was now, but it basically was an acronym that was more accurate than just saying preppy. Like that was his whole point, where he's like, preppy is not like a good description
Mm-hmm.
our group of people. So they came up with this whole other one, but I don't remember what the second one was. I missed that.
Yeah. Okay. Also, whenever they find like panties outside of the house or whatever,
Oh yeah.
it was weird. Anyway, they find like these pink panties. Anyway, and then they bring them into the room where Rick is, and then the panties are white, and I just noticed that. I was like, that's not okay.
They were like pink or purple or something, right?
Yeah, but then when they filmed it just the continuity was gone.
Oh,
so I always notice it sometimes in movies when that happens. Because sometimes they film things during different days, and so the continuity is lost.
Yeah.
Sometimes just little things like that
I know. I like catching stuff like that on movies where you're like, oh, I see the message.
Yep.
Okay, so there was one thing that I wrote down from it that so Tom, the main dude character, they like kind of meet him and like pull him into their social group, and he keeps talking about how he morally disagrees with going to like elitist parties or hanging out with people that are rich or things like that, because he's like a socialist. He like loves socialism. So So they talk about that, and then they like keep inviting him to stuff. And he's kind of like, well, I don't know. Like, I really morally don't agree with going to parties and dances and things like that. And the guys at one point, he's talking to two of the guy friends, and they're like, it's harder for the girls. Like, they have to have what is they call them? Not a chaperone. Is that what they called them? They had to have like a chaperone or like somebody with them. And he's like, it's harder for them because they have to like have somebody with them. So they have to ask the guys and they have to like set it up and make it happen. And they enjoy your company. They like you, Tom. So it is like worse for them if you decide to stop hanging out or going to these things. Like we do it so that they can come to these things and have fun. And I did feel like that was definitely a poignant commentary on Jane Austen's society and women's roles and like the confines of society that existed back then for women. And I mean, in some ways still do, but there's also confines for men, you know. But yeah, I just thought that that was kind of an interesting parallel to draw. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting.
mhm.
Very interesting. Um, okay, so that's all I have
Yeah, me
for
too.
this
That's
film.
it. I don't know that I
So
would say you have to watch this one.
it's weird. It's bizarre, you guys. I mean, I don't know. I feel it's just maybe it was us, but
I don't think so. When you were a kid and you were watching a movie, did you guys ever call the characters that you were before you put it on? y- like you're just watching the movie, but it's like you can dibs the character that's you and you like
oh
have
yeah.
them for watching it. I feel like
Yeah.
we should do that when we watch these movies.
For
Like we
me
should
it
just
was
dibs a character and then as we watch it be like, I really liked how they portrayed that character. Be like, ooh, I should have dibs a different one.
well, I felt like that the girl in this movie, the blonde girl, was most like me, but
Yeah, maybe. So you could have been Sally.
I don't
That's great.
know. I don't know. Oh man.
That's funny.
Yeah. So
Oh,
yay.
thanks for listening to that. It was an interesting one. But I mean, I enjoyed watching it
Uh,
because I like new movies, but I also a lot of the time was kind of like, this is a weird one. But
yeah, I'm like not really gonna watch it again, but it's okay. Um,
one and done.
unless I have to, you know. Okay, so should we do highs and lows?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So do you want to go first with your low or do you
Um,
want me to go first?
I'll go first. It's a bit of a downer. Well, it's not a downer, okay, but I feel like sometimes people get, well, I don't know, maybe I just project that people get uncomfortable. Okay. So my birthday is tomorrow and I'm so excited. I really do love birthdays and I'm excited to celebrate with my birthday. But I have to say, February and March are very weird months for me because I have an older brother that passed away in a car accident when he was 16
Mhm.
and his birthday is in February, and then the anniversary of his death is in March. And the day that the accident happened was actually the day that we were having my 8th birthday party. And then, like, after the party ended, just a
Oh
little bit
my
after that, we got the
God.
news that it had happened. So, as much as I do genuinely enjoy my birthday and have fun, it's just an odd month because there's just so many like conflicting feelings. And when you lose somebody really, really close to you, your body remembers the trauma of that. And it's like the weirdest thing. Like, I can't tell you how many years I've just been having like going through such a funk and feeling really upset and just having a hard time and being like, what is the matter with me? And then I'll realize that it's like the week of his birthday or the week of the anniversary of his death.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you just feel it, you know. And so I've been thinking about that a lot this year, especially because I think that we all know somebody who's lost somebody this year, you know. Like, I have a friend that her dad a few months ago passed away from COVID. Like, there's just a lot of people
Mhm.
who've experienced losses, so I think this year is hitting me a little different. And I wanted to bring that one up because I think grieving needs to be talked about more, you know.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
grief of a loved one being lost doesn't ever leave. It changes and it'll kind of shift through the years, but it's always there with you. And I think that it's totally okay to talk about and to bring it up and to just grieve
Mhm.
again, even when it's years and years later and you feel like maybe I should be more pulled together with this. Like, it's okay, you know? So for anyone out there who's experienced that loss, or anyone who does in the future, like, it's complicated, but it's okay to feel like it, and to be super happy and super sad
Mhm.
at the same time. It can happen. So that's
Yeah.
my low
Oh my
light.
gosh, that's so tough. That's so tough. Yeah. That's crazy. Gosh.
I know, it's
It-
funny. I don't know, when you experience loss like that, it gives a different perspective, and I really appreciate having a different perspective, but it's still hard sometimes, and life is tough sometimes, you know?
Yeah. Well, and it's like, I've been through stuff like that too, where it's like, why am I so upset? And then I like look and I'm like, oh, like an anniversary of this is coming up or that. You know what I mean? It's kind of just like, yeah.
Yeah, you really like your body experiences emotions with you. It's not in your brain alone.
Hmm.
I'll say,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. It's crazy. Um, so my low is just that daylight savings time is stupid.
it is stupid. No, you're totally right. Listen, an hour was
Ugh,
stolen from us, and that is not okay.
I know. I hate it so much. Just like, let's just not do this anymore.
I know, I know. Ugh. I am excited to have that extra hour of sunshine in the evening, but it is annoying
Hmm.
going through the change, the
Hmm.
shift.
Yeah. Ugh, it is annoying. I hate it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good low light.
Mhm.
Highlights?
Well, I made like a really cute roast. I've never like actually cooked meat before in my life. And so I made like a really cute roast and a dinner and it was fun. So
Oh, that's so
yeah.
cute. Look at you, little Susie homemaker. I love that.
So it
You've
was
never
fun.
cooked meat?
No, because I don't eat it really. So no. Yeah, it was for a boy, but it's fine. But I
The
why
things
would I
we do for
ever
boys that we would
I know.
normally not do.
I know. Like I never would cook meat for myself. So
Yeah.
it's fine. And I was like, you have to come back and help me finish eating this. Cause I was going to try and send it home. And he's like, no, I'll just eat more the next time I'm here. I'm like, okay, you better. Cause I'm not going to eat this by myself. So
So do you just kind of like socially eat meat like when you go out to different
yeah,
places?
I'll go out and eat meat socially. I just don't really cook it for myself.
Okay,
So
that makes
yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Hmm.
Wow, that's good. Good for you. Cooking a roast is
Yeah.
not the easiest, but it's so yummy.
It's fun. Yeah. I liked it.
I'm sure you felt like a little June Cleaver. Um,
It was the
so
first time using my crock pot since I was married. Like I never, when I was married, I actually never used the crock pot because I was always so angry when I was married. So I never like wanted to cook because I was always so
yeah,
pissed.
that
So
makes sense. I don't like to cook
yeah,
for people when I'm pissed off either.
yeah, I was so mad the whole time. So
Oh,
yeah, it's okay.
that's tough, girl. My highlight is I went for like a real run yesterday, and it's the first time that I've gone out running in a couple weeks because I haven't been feeling well, but I finally was feeling good, and the weather was so nice, and I went for a 2 mile run, and it hurt my lungs so bad, but I felt so good after doing it.
Good, good. Yeah, that's awesome.
It was good.
Good. Yay.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. Well, I think that's it. Thanks for listening to our weird commentary on this weird movie.
it was such a weird one, you guys, but
Oh
you got
my
enough
god.
side tangents from us from that. So
Yeah.
hopefully it's fun.
Weird. It was weird. But be sure to listen to like follow us on Instagram, Facebook, all that jazz. Where we do our devotionals still. And then on be sure to tune in on Wednesday. We'll be doing another excuse me, dear gentleman letter. So those have been fun. I love doing those. So
Have been really, you guys have. So yeah, and then make sure that you're subscribed to our podcast. It helps us out a lot when you subscribe to it versus just listening to it when the new episode drops. So subscribe, like it. If you would leave a rating and a review, it would help us so much. We'd appreciate it. So
yes.
thank you.
Yay. Thank you. You can also support our podcast if you want. And then you can also leave us a voice message, which we would totally play like on like while we're talking, which will be
Yeah,
fun.
that would actually be cool. I hope we do get some
Yeah,
people because I
I
just
know.
like I love the fact that there's people out there that we don't know that listen to us, and I just want to know them. So,
I know.
oh, you guys, send us messages, send us
Mhm.
voicemails. You have to go to Anchor to send us the voicemail, but they have an
Mhm.
option right there, so it's super convenient, and
Mhm.
we can't wait to get
Yes, and
on.
same with the support stuff.
Mhm.
So, yay! All right, well, we'll catch you guys later. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. Ah, all right.
That one and YouTube. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Bye.